Mm. to you all. This is High Priestess Jamila. Thank you for the thumbs up. Y'all must like that song. I know I listen to that song a lot, especially when I'm cleaning up, if I'm doing stuff around the house, or just because I like the song. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to the creator of that movie. Okay, very beautiful black woman who finally got her success from that movie. She actually wrote the book. She also wrote Terminator for Hollywood, and they didn't want to pay her. Okay, so let's talk, guys. So, spirits are finally compelling me to come on here and speak about this adrenochrome thing. There's always a medical term for it, but what we call it is psychic vampirism and feeding off of people. It's very cruel. It's very cruel. And depending on how much you get fed upon, it's going to depend on your gifts. It's going to depend on your power inside of your body, your spiritual etheric body. Okay. And so adrenochrome, from what we know about it, it's basically where they kidnap a kid. Okay. So they telling you only half of the story. They're not even telling you half of the story about that. So that, like, I've been talking about this for years since I was a kid. So adrenochrome is where they kidnap children and they scare the hell out of them, rape them, kill them for a certain energy that they produce. A lot of people think that they extract the blood and they use the blood. They don't have to have the blood. Okay, our power and our energy and our aura surrounds us constantly. And it's not always a protective aura, it's just an aura. It's just human energy. When you go and you look at a human being under a, heat, what is that thing where it shows you the heat from the human body and you see all that red and yellow? You're a battery, basically, which is why I decided to go ahead and use that song from the movie. Now, the movie kind of, as the sequels went on, it kind of changed a little bit. I don't know if the original writers, really co-signed a lot of the stuff that they did because, it kind of, I didn't really like the last one when they said, "Oh, freedom is the matrix." Only if you created it. If you created it, then you're free. If you create your own matrix. Okay, so I really like it was kind of but the first two I really enjoyed them. So basically, they don't have to kill nobody, and they're not just doing it to kids, man. They're doing this to everybody. Everybody is a target. They don't just stop when are 25. They don't stop when you become the legal age to drive. They do it your whole life. They will follow you around. And this is not just done physically with the blood of the victim. This is also being done etherically, which is why and so basically when you're born, you are given a social security number. You think that that social security number is for your security? Half of the time it is, but the rest of the time it's to track you because they number you. Then, when you get older and you start to come into your spiritual gifts, and we've seen this even in movies, we have seen this even if you look at the movie Charmed. Remember the old, and they made it a crone, like they made the crone evil in Charmed. I didn't really understand that because the crone is not evil. Lilith is not evil. Lilith don't have nothing to do with this. Lilith and the crone, even the crone as an old woman, is still very fertile. Even the crone is fertile. They made it look like it was the crone. Hold on a minute. Jacob wants to act up right now, coincidentally. I'll be right back. Okay, he done ran downstairs, y'all. I got to give him some milk. So I'm going to talk to you guys about the whole adrenochrome conspiracy. It really ain't that big of a deal. It really ain't. You just got to know how to defend yourself. Okay. If you give your kid a bowl of cereal in the morning, you are protecting them from being fed on. So that's why they went through this whole thing to where they said, don't drink milk. They were lying to you. In today's society, you should at least be drinking from the sacred cow. Cows do not mind you drinking their milk. So, with vegans, if you are a vegan and you have spiritual stuff and you feel a certain way and and it's certain things, certain situations that you're avoiding because you feel like you can't handle it, it is because you don't have the because vegans, they don't drink milk, so that it left them wide open to that. Okay, I know that a lot of people are not going to listen to me, but eventually you're going to see a trend of what I'm saying eventually. Why do you think that whenever you see like drug addicts, like that's on bath salts, or drug addicts that's on something that's taking them out of their mind, they say give them milk? When you're upset and you drink milk, it's going to calm you down. But we'll talk about all of the things that you can do to protect yourself from it. Okay. Now, basically, they will try to use anything and everything to upset you. Just like right now, you know, they do all kind of stuff. They'll go in through your kids, they'll go in through your man, they'll go in through your wife. And the what makes you a target is what they are looking for is energy. And this has been talked about. A lot of people don't believe in it. And I'm like, how can you really looking at the world? Because people don't see. When you up here on the 10th dimension like Jamila is, you can see everything from a bird's eye view. Some of y'all that are still two-dimensional, three-dimensional, four-dimensional, a lot of y'all in 4D, 5D, y'all don't get this. And so that's why you end up becoming a victim, and so does your children. Can y'all hit the thumbs up, by the way? There's 9 in the chat. Here's why I always monitor my chat and the thumbs up. Because basically what these people are doing is they are coming in and they're trying to energetically block other people from coming in. So I'll stop right now, and do a count. Let's do a head count, almost like you was in school. Okay. So we got 3 thumbs up and 9 in the chat. Okay, so we got 6 people in here that are blocking others from coming in and getting this very useful knowledge. Okay, 5. Okay. I don't mean to berate anybody with that, but it's important for me to do that because if you're in here with that negative energy, that means that you could be an empty seater and you could be energetically blocking other people. So if you would please hit the thumbs up, I appreciate it, because what that does is that brings in more viewers. And God only knows that there's only like 10 billion of you that they will allow to listen to this. Okay. Actually, I think that my views are off the Richter and it's too many to count personally. Okay. That's because when I finish this hangout, it'll say 300, 400 playbacks. And I'm not kidding with you. So you can still see your playbacks when YouTube is trying to hide them from you. Okay. So they have been getting adrenochrome, and science has just now figured it out. That's why there's a picture of it. They have been getting that for thousands of years. They have been doing it. It has gotten worse because the entity, okay, now I know the entity. I've seen it. It's a bottomless fucking pit. It will never be satisfied, ever, ever. And it's not something that technically it's not necessarily on the earth, because if this thing was actually walking the earth, it would consume everything. It would consume The water on this planet, it would consume the animals, it would consume the humans, of course, first, because that's its preference. It doesn't want to eat animals. It wants to eat off of humans. It's not a vampire, but we just call it vampirism, but it's not a vampire. Vampires are beings that existed and they have evolved. Okay, vampires are totally different. They just drink blood. Vampires just like to drink blood. They'll drink animal blood, they'll drink human blood. Humans have been donating to vampires for hundreds of years now. There's no need for a vampire to do this. This is something that is not even on this planet, but it is between the moon and Mars, and it takes advantage of being up there by the moon because we know the moon is a big ass antenna. That's what the moon is. It's not a man made antenna, it was made by God. Okay, so it's an antenna. A lot of people will say, well, if God created the moon and Mars, then why would God create something like that? Maybe it could have created itself, but its headquarters is not on this planet, but it speaks to people on this planet. This is the people that are going to be talking to you about ET contact. Some of those extraterrestrial contacts are bad, very bad. Okay, and people know it. If you were to go and travel up to outer space and look at what I'm not joking with you. If y'all saw that movie Spaceballs, it's kind of like that, only the thing was taking oxygen in Spaceballs. And yes, it does mess with the oxygen levels. That's why many of you guys are feeling weird because and feeling lightheaded because they've been feeding big time for the past month or two. Okay. Um, So if you were to go and if you were a light being that could travel, okay, I can get there in 1.5 seconds. I can get up there in one point. I don't have to astral travel. I just in fact, we're past astral travel. We just have to be able to appear there. That's pretty much what the astral travel is. So if you were to get trained to do astral travel, we would probably start you at going on the journey, but once you know where you need to go, you just know how to get there. If you was to go up there right now, you would see them in a spacecraft that is made up of some kind of weird gelatin-like icky flesh. And what they're doing, you'll see a bunch of like white vapors almost. Now, I'll try to draw a picture of what I'm talking about. Okay. And they're not here. Okay. They live on this planet in a lot of people's consciousness. And that's why a lot of people are agents for these demons. It's considered an interdimensional demon, is what it's considered. Okay. If you're following me, hit the thumbs up. We got 4 in the chat. I want to make sure that ain't nobody blocking nobody from coming in from coming in, because people will block and they will try to purposely energetically block you guys from even believing or listening to a damn thing that I say. And we would really like for you to leave. Whoever you are that's in here that doesn't like it, or you think I'm full of shit, or you think I'm crazy, get out of my room and get your bad energy up out of here. If it's 4 thumbs up, it should be 4 people watching. Now, I understand you may want to wait to see what I have to say, but I'm sick and tired of everybody on this planet doing this shit. When y'all like to hear the pretty lie, you don't want to hear the truth. A lot of people think that just because their kids are sitting at home safe in their house, that they not feeding off of your kids, but they are. Okay, it ain't got nothing to do with none of that crap that they talking about. This is something that is actually happening. You hear witches and you hear spiritualists talking about interdimensional beings all the time. Well, this is an example of it. Okay. They can't really come near Earth's atmosphere, but for some reason, there are a lot of people that will open up fucking portals for them to be able to feed off of us. And we are trying to shut their asses down. These people will open up portals so that demon can suck your energy Let me see if that, you know what? That was a call coming in through my private number. Whoever you are that's calling, if you can't call from your regular number, don't call me. I'm gonna have to put an app on my phone. Okay. So what they do, if you go up there and look at Earth will on a regular day until somebody knows what they're doing and they'll go up there and they'll deploy an angel. So right now there's a spiritual war happening right now. You can feel it. You can feel it. And they're blocking them. They're being blocked big time. But you can still see these little holes, these little wormholes. Okay, where the energy is seeping up to them. Okay. And so spirit is definitely trying to fill in those holes. They regularly do a lot of things. Some of the asteroids come from them. And it's not, if they were to kill us, then they wouldn't be able to feed off of us. So why would they kill us? They ain't gonna do that. Okay. So a lot of people, they don't realize actually what we dealing with. Okay. So adrenochrome is what? Your power, your essence. Okay. And they do a lot of heart chakra work. That's why a lot of y'all got heart problems. That's the main thing that they feed off of is the heart chakra. That's why they're always up to no good because they want the energy from that. Okay. And then also they're feeding off the crown big time. Okay. So that's why many of you guys are having headaches, dizziness, because they are literally trying to take it from the top of your head. That's why a witch will tell you cover up your head. Okay. And it's not that you have to go and get a tinfoil hat, but you better be aware of what's going on. Now, my entire house is protected from them being able to feed off of anything. Okay. And because they'll feed off of your energy so much so that you don't even, and the older you get, the more powerful you get. So that's why old people die because they're killing old people. A lot of the older people that have, a lot of the older people that have Alzheimer's, dementia, they are feeding off of those people. And so basically what's happening and the reason why there is a problem between the elders and the youngin, and because I'm still a youngin, I'm only 43 years old, okay? Yeah. It does say that doesn't it working Martha? Uh-huh. Or is that mother working mother? I said Martha. Yeah, you're supposed to cover up your head because what that does is and you have to be consciously, protecting yourself energetically. That's why many of you are tired. Okay. A lot of y'all that have chronic fatigue syndrome, you're tired all the time. You don't have enough energy to do nothing. They're gonna let you work that job 8 hours a day, but after that, they shut you down. Okay. And so if you're not consciously aware, and you don't have to sit and think about, see, for me personally, I know it exists. I sit here and eat popcorn and watch movies. Just be aware. You don't have to obsess over it. You don't have to sit there and go, oh my God, the sky is falling. See, that's what they want you to do. They already got y'all doing that. Now we got another Hollywood sacrifice and people are just buzzing. The main thing they feed off of is your emotions. So when you get upset or when you're arguing, okay, when you're arguing and all upset, they are just ripping it right out of you. Okay. And it's doing damage to a lot of people's bodies. That's why a lot of people on this planet are sick. Humans used to live for 300 or 400 years. They didn't get tired of living. The reason why you're tired of living is because they create a lot of the issues for you to be upset about. It's mainly when you are upset, when you are in a rage, when you're angry, and when you're sad. That's why I said when you cry, you're releasing any negative energy, but you don't never want to cry Sorrowfully. That's why in the Bible it also says to not cry at somebody's funeral, to rejoice. Okay? At my funeral, I want them to be rejoicing. I got to go reblock this person. This person somehow finds a way past my security. And you never know, that guy might be communicating with me from that spacecraft. They can communicate with us through the phone. Hold on, y'all. Google Voice. He was just able to call me. Now, ain't that something? I ain't heard from that guy all night. That guy is not just a stalker or a troll. He's something different. Okay. Mm. Okay. So, you know what? I'm going to go back into my settings and block this idiot. And by the way, guys, we can do work on you even if we don't know you. So this guy thinks that he's protected by anonymity, but he's not. Okay, he has left over 3,000 messages. I wouldn't even have time to go in and delete all this stuff, but I am going to start deleting it. God, good grief. And you know what they need to do? This is what they need to do. They need to go ahead and move out of our solar system because they feed off of the sun. They feed off of us. Our chakras are connected to the planets. They feed off of our mind, our bodies, and our spirits. Okay. So all that adrenochrome and, yeah, they doing that, but that's probably more so humans on the planet or something that, you know what I'm saying? It's washed down and it's watered down, but they do this all the time. They fed all throughout the election. They just was feeding. I don't even think the government told y'all to really get upset. That what were y'all upset about? You don't have control over the election anyway, which is what we told you. Stop trying to think that because to be honest with you, I saw, I don't even want to say that, but Donald Trump did get reelected. But they said the powers that be said no. So he's out of there. Okay. And, because they're never going to find those missing votes. It's not going to happen. If you be looking for a needle in a haystack, they gone. So, but they fed on y'all all through the election. It just, y'all just upset and damn, I'm mad, I'm angry, I'm sad. See, here's the thing. A lot of people will look at me and they'll say, oh, look, oh, they got her. Oh, she's upset. No, I don't. There have been a few times where I've noticed that they do feed, that they fed on me, especially in the past week or two. Okay. But for the most part, if you see me upset, or if you see me telling somebody off, they ain't getting nothing. Okay, but a bad day and some gas. I'm telling you, they not getting nothing. I know how to ward off that bad energy, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, the feeding process can and has killed a lot of human beings. Okay? It has. It's killed people before because it's absolutely cruel. To know that we're walking around a world where everybody has a social security number. And see, it's nothing wrong with having a social security number, but it's what it's being used for. Okay, so it's being used to track humans. You are a number. Now, I know that a lot of the social security numbers went back to zero. A lot of the babies that were born in the past 10 years, they have like zero or one. A lot of us had four, six, sevens, eights, nines. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna the way that they do that, and they know it. They know I'm telling the truth, and they cannot deny it. And the problem is that first of all, I believe NASA knows that they're there, and I believe that they have infiltrated NASA. Otherwise, our defense that's in the sky would have blew them away by now. Okay, they don't really have technology to blow the Earth up. Even if they tried, the Earth would protect herself. Um, the Earth is very mysterious like that. Okay, in fact, she can blink on and off. she the Oh, the Earth is magic. All of the planets are. There's magic in all of the planets. Okay, especially Earth because we are Earth's children. And the Earth is round. It's not flat. Sorry to all you flat earthers. I think that that's just the whole flat Earth theory. That's just another way to get y'all to argue about something. Just, hey, let's think of a flat Earth theory. Yeah, yeah, and it's like, so is the sun flat and the moon is just like flat? And what are we, paper people? So we're not really here. That's pretty much, but we are here in the flesh, every last one of us. Okay. Because if you jump off of a building, you're going to clump down at the bottom and splatter all over the concrete. And gravity does exist. You know what I'm saying? So people got to be careful because they send downloads. And see, I don't take their downloads. Crazy shit. You know it ain't right. Okay, I know when it's coming from my spirits and I know when it's coming from them. In fact, they can't send me downloads at all. They used to be able to. I had horrible chronic fatigue syndrome from the time I was, I must have been 15 or 16 years old until I was in my 20s. I had chronic fatigue syndrome. I just was a sleeping beauty. I just couldn't. And I was wondering what was wrong with me. I was just like, why am I so tired? I don't think it was an iron deficiency because I ate plenty, and I ate good. I ate home cooked meals, okay? So, they've been doing it and they target certain people. Now, the reason why they wanted to target certain people and a lot of so let's talk about empaths, okay? Empaths are their favorite, okay? If you are an empath, how do I stop the grays from visiting me some night? It's a horrible experience. Ooh, that's a good question. The first thing the spirit told me was your crystals and stones and stuff. But if you have grays visiting you, Thea Light Weaver, you're gonna have to close the door, close the portal to them. That would be closing a portal to any kind of alien would be high magic. That's what would be that would be considered a form of high magic because you would have to have somebody that is advanced enough to know because I work with what is above and below, okay, and down here. So is what below is. Below is earth. So you would have to have somebody close that portal. You may have a couple of portals in your house that they have access to. Okay. Now, how do you protect yourself? Number one, be aware. If all of a sudden you sitting there and you just start getting upset. I mean, because sometimes getting upset, it could be black magic. But all this back and forth and around in a circle and a twirly twirl and all that ain't normal. My goodness, human beings have been the most unstable. It don't be no back and forth and all that when you know what I'm saying? With them, it is though, because they feed, they let you rest. They feed, they let you rest. So they do it every other day, sometimes every day. Okay, sometimes several times per day. If you are an empath, you are heavily susceptible because you are their preference. Okay. The reason why we have to watch the children is because they will get desperate and snatch up a kid. So you got to watch your kids. Unfortunately, in today's society, you can't send your kids to the schoolhouse because you don't know if your kid's social security number gonna get called in and they will get snatched from that playground. You don't know. Okay, notice how they never talk about missing children anymore. Never. They do send out Amber Alerts, but they rarely talk about. The news is not reporting not even a third of children that are coming up missing. They're not. They're not even reporting it. That's not even, we're not even, because literally, back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, back in the good old days, people gave a damn. They feel like you wouldn't want to watch the news if they just reported all of the missing children. So that's one of the reasons why Donald Trump is under scrutiny and why they pull rank on him because of all those kids that came up missing. Because they don't know if he's in the club. Now, can they get pissed off at High Priestess Jamila and come over here and kill me whenever they want? Nope. Because you have a right to know. And the people that don't know or don't want to listen, that's on them. I'm sorry. Like, what else are we going to do? God can only do so much. God can give you wisdom. God can give you strength. But God cannot give you intelligence and smartness, man. God can't make you not ignorant. Okay. And God can't make you see what you don't want to see. Hold on a minute. Jacob, hold on, y'all. Let me go see what this little boy in here doing because he is really acting a fool tonight, y'all. That boy in there doing a little bit too much partying. I went in there. I said, "Are you okay?" He looked back at me and smiled, looking at me crazy, like I'm okay. I am Thriller tonight. Like really. So he's not bothered by them at all. But I am because I see them. They do. I mean, they want, and it ain't just like y'all act like it's YouTube. Why do people act like it's YouTube? YouTube ain't got nothing to do with it. You can be off of YouTube all day and night and you can still get fed on. You are still being fed on. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell y'all the ways to protect yourself. Number one at the top is drinking milk. Cow's milk, goat's milk, or breast milk. Breast milk will protect you from their attacks. Okay, it's something about the frequency of milk. Cow's milk will protect you as well. If you're not drinking cow's milk and you're constantly being fed on, then it's because your diet is messed up. You cannot, like, that's one of the reasons why. First of all, cows were sent here for us to feed off of them. That's why they resemble Earth. That's why they have the pattern on their bodies. Okay, it's and cows have been around since the beginning of time, since humans first discovered cows, and intuitively we drank cow milk and goat's milk because it's nutritious. It's one of the most nutritionally dense foods you can eat or drink, rather. Um, a lot of people that are lactose intolerant, you're being fed on a lot. Okay, now I drink milk every day. If milk is making your stomach hurt, try to find some other form. Another thing is fish oil. Fish oil will protect you if you take a certain amount of milligrams of fish oil per day. Eating fish, all sorts, all kinds, especially raw fish. Okay. Oh, there was another green tea. Green tea is amazing from blocking them. It blocks them completely because when your body is doing a certain thing and it's protected, okay, because milk provides very powerful magical protection. Okay, that's why when somebody's upset, they, you know what I'm saying, and they're just hysterical. You give them some milk or some warm milk, they gonna calm all the way down unless they need something stronger. Okay, and so milk is one of them, and then also beer, because hops is another thing that helps them not feed off of you. Okay, hops is a herb. Hops is not alcohol. Hops is the ingredient, the secret ingredient that they use to make beer. Okay, but magically it protects you from inflammation, and it does more than what they say. Also, another thing, if you want to go into roots and herbs, valerian root, lobelia, it's spelled Lobelia. Valerian is Valerian. Okay. Valerian root smells like poop. It does. It stinks, but it's good because it protects the body. Okay. And what they will do is, yeah, if they, basically it's like a scanner almost. They'll start scanning the earth. They doing it right now. They've been scanning and looking and searching. They'll scan the earth for the person that has the correct body temperature or the correct mood. Your mood determines your body temperature. Okay. Well, don't be scared. That's what I'm saying. I ain't trying to scare nobody, Thea. Okay, you don't have to be scared of it, but because you are getting the knowledge and the information that you need to protect yourself. Because a lot of people, when they look at their enemies, they'll think that it's the girl down the street or it's your ex-husband, but you don't really know what enemy we're actually dealing with. Okay, because a lot of the people that y'all angry at, they're just being fed on all the time. They don't realize it. Okay. So technically, with them up there, we're all cursed because we all are facing this entity, this evil. Okay. So they've been trying to, well, for years, they tried to make people be nicer to each other. Because if you do that, then, people's tempers won't be so high and they won't be able to feed. But people have lost their way these days. So a lot of people need to be led back. I have been deploying the angels every day. Angels sometimes they can't just get in here. Sometimes there has to be a catalyst. The angels that we need. Okay, guardian angels are always here, but there are literally there's it's angels, or there's so many of them. When you think about how many angels they are, just think about counting all of the stars in the galaxy is your angels, and they're closer than what you think, and they can travel by light speed. Okay. So when we call to the angels, it does protect the earth, but then you got people that are unaware that will open up portals, vast portals for these demons. And it ain't High Priestess Jamila doing a black magic spell. See, that's something different. Okay. This is something that is extraterrestrial. Okay. And they do have contactees on this planet. They control their contactees. They force their contactees to give out false information. They force their contactees to sometimes attack people. Okay. And most of their contactees are covert, that you can't see them. They're hiding. Okay. Are they witches? They're not. They're not necessarily witches. Um, the lady that was talking about her daughter that was killed on Dr. Phil like a month ago, I don't know if y'all caught that video on YouTube. She had mentioned something about games that they run in a game. And they do use gang members to carry out what they do. They do. They the gang, I guess you could say Freemasons or whatever, you know. Um I guess it would depend on what reality you're moving in and out of. If you're in a reality where they can hurt you, then they will. So you got to be careful with what reality you are accepting. Okay, because everybody lives, even though we all on this earth together, all of us are not living in the same reality because some of us don't know about that. Some of us are completely and totally unaware. And then there's some people that suspect it, but there, I think that what it is that it's so many people on this earth that are really, really just suffering and going through it at this point, and they're scared. Okay, they had been feeding off of the coronam for, oh God, forever. For like, I mean, it's terrible. And just to let y'all know, you can research it. Coronam is crown in Latin, so that's where they got corona from. If you look at the crown chakra, this is your consciousness. Okay, now does it mean, oh, it's over, the sky is gonna fall and we're all dead? No, that's not what it means. It just means that you have to raise your consciousness. You have to understand what is going on. We are on a planet in the middle of the universe. Okay, I kind of believe we're in the middle of the universe. So you got to think that eventually it was going to be some Star Wars stuff that was going to be popping off. Eventually, we was going to have enemies that cannot get on this planet. I can promise you that they can. This is what Spirit told me. They cannot get on this planet because their bodies would probably melt or disintegrate. They can't. That's just like you trying to travel in your current physical body to Mars. You're just not going to be able to do it. You would die there and your form would change into something else that is conducive to that planet. So if they tried to actually physically come down here, they would die and they would probably get turned into a flower or a tree. Okay? Or a rock. Whatever it is that, you know what I'm saying? And so, but they can communicate with us, and that's who you're seeing. A lot of the, like, the people that, it depends on who you're communicating with. Now people that hear voices are communicating with them. You know, these are people that are extremely psychic. These people have to be aware. Extremely psychic people that can hear a pin drop from 5 miles away, they often send messages to those people. Okay. And from what I was told by somebody before I actually disconnected, because I cut the cord for a couple of people from these beings, their voices get louder and louder and louder. But it's different from being clairaudient. It's not, because clairaudience, you don't actually hear the conversation. If you're clairaudience, you just can sense what they're saying, if you're, or what they're thinking. Okay. But with them, they're actually causing hallucinations to people. They can do that. They're psychic, but their psyche is totally different from ours. Okay. Um, they don't have a home. So that's why I kind of think that back in the day, probably about 4 years ago, I called them celestial trash. That's what they are, celestial trash, because they don't really have a home. Okay, they're kind of lost too. They actually, They actually really like human beings on this planet. That's why they won't go. I believe that they showed up probably, oh, I want to say about the 1700s, 1600s. Would that be the correct math? Y'all think, hey, Ivy, hello? Is it about 1600s? They probably longer ago than that is when they first showed up. But they were researching us and they were developing their technique, is what they were doing. So they and what they would do is they would try to they'll send certain things down to the earth, which is why you'll see UFOs. Some of those UFOs are here to pick people up. So, for example, if you spot a UFO near Houston, Texas, and 5 people come up missing and they're never seen again, they probably got beamed up to Scotty and taken. They can't come down here, but they can pull us up there. Okay. Now, can they do it if you are spiritually protected? No. Okay. You're going to feel them. You're going to feel them and you're going to know that they're there and you're going to automatically go into defense mode. Our magic on this planet protects us even from them. So just because they have a spacecraft and they do that every once in a while, they actually um now I know that over in Seattle there's some spacecrafts over there. Um are they the same spacecrafts? I don't I'd have to go over there to Seattle cuz I was planning on traveling to Seattle and I ended up coming to Georgia, which I'm glad I did, which I'm glad that I did come to Georgia because um it's just a better fit. Okay? Cuz when you look at the energy in the South, okay, that's why a lot of people started going heading south, because of where we are positioned next to the equator and where we're at. Okay, that's why a lot of people began to travel here from other states because it's a huge protection. Okay, a lot of people say, oh, they prejudice down there and that's the Bible Belt. I'm like, well, I'd rather be down here then. Hello. Praise God. But these particular beings, this is what NASA is not telling you. Okay. They're not telling you what they're doing. So they are messing with a lot of people. And depending on your diet, depending on your lifestyle, they definitely feed off of people that live these dramatic lifestyles. Just full of drama, high octane, you know what I'm saying? They love that. And so when they get your adrenaline going, if you ever feel your adrenaline going like that, you have to learn how to control it. Most people that have that experience with them, because they were definitely, when I got up yesterday morning, mm, they was really trying to pull on me. In fact, somebody had tried to open up a portal. I closed it, of course. But somebody was trying to open up some kind of portal. And I was like, but don't they know that I can see that? And Spirit said, well, they do, but they still gonna try. So this is one of the reasons why I ended up doing what I was doing. And pretty soon, um, I am gonna, take it a step further as far as some of the things that I will be doing because it's gotten real bad. They've been taking advantage probably for the past 1,000 years at least. But they're really taking advantage of people. And I think that it's went on for far too long for us to keep ignoring it. Eventually, what they will do is they will move on. When they realize that the humans on this planet are smart, they'll move on. However, you can't control everybody on the planet. So as long as those people are ignorant, they hold on to what we call hope. And that's why they stay. But what they do is very evil. They have no understanding of human beings, okay? Even though they are feeding off of your consciousness, it's delicious to them. It's memories, it's self, it's energy, it's love, it's hate. It's, man, they love it, and they will literally take everything all the way from the root going all the way up to the top of your head. Okay, if somebody can infiltrate your crown chakra, they can access any one of your chakras. So if your crown, so for example, if you are somebody that was protected, because our ancestors from the 1600s, they protected us from these beings. They knew about it. That's why they were drawing pictures of them. They were recording it and letting us know what was going on. But I think that human beings didn't really understand how to interpret what they were doing. Okay. So basically, when and you know what, I'm gonna be honest with you, the sad part about it is their contactees are in a lot of danger, and some of their contactees will brag about this. Now, if you are legitimately in contact with an alien or an extraterrestrial that you can trust, then there's nothing wrong with that. But if you are contacting these demons, it's going to be obvious, because you're going to appear to be very vampiric. You're going to appear to be very evil and diabolical. Okay. So, same difference from up there. If they can control your crown consciousness, that they can control everything. Okay. And so your crown is going to affect everything going all the way down, but it typically affects the crown, the third eye, the throat, and the heart. Okay, primarily. But and so if your root is compromised, then everything going up will be, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like they do it from a higher perspective. And they are feeding. And that's why you'll see people in their 20s and they'll look 40. And this is no shade to anybody. You'll see people in their 20s and they look 40. When I was in my 20s, I looked 40. And I got, as I cleared their stuff out of my consciousness, I just, in my opinion, I feel like I look younger. I feel like I look better than I did in my 20s. Okay. I don't know about nobody else's opinion, but that's just my personal opinion, what I see with my eyeballs. Okay. Yeah, it's probably gonna be a day when I become real old and gray. I'm still gonna be cute though. Maybe I'll get real wrinkled and gray. Look like one of them little old ladies. But anyway, that I don't know. I think I'm gonna end up like, I don't know. Like, I pictured myself older, and I do know that my hair is probably gonna be gray, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna look old. So anyway, protect yourself by being consciously aware, paying attention. If you see that they're getting ready to do something, that's just like with the election. It was obvious. I mean, it was days and days and days of them trying to figure out who was the president. Not that any of us that are sovereign actually gives a damn. Who cares? That I'm trying to get people to understand that a lot of this stuff that is set up around you is set up for them. That's what it's set up for. And so you have to stop allowing them to put you in a state of being where these interdimensionals can feed. Yeah, we know that the initial person that's on planet Earth, they may be feeding, but they're feeding too. That's why after you deal with something, you wiped out. You have no more inspiration to do anything else for the day because they're energetically feeding. Imagine if you're upset even for 15 or 20 minutes. And it's not to say don't get upset because everybody gets upset, but it seems like people get upset more often these days to the point where it's damn near every day where it's these negative, very, very strong emotions. And, and I mean, it's obvious that I actually saw them. They actually sometimes will orbit the moon. And there's a lot that's happening right now in the atmosphere, just like within our solar system right now, that within itself is scaring people, but it is necessary. Okay, it is very, very necessary for us to be consciously aware of it because they are trying to deplete the ozone layer also. If the sicker you are, the more they can feed. The sicker you are, mentally or physically, they love feeding off of sick people. They feed off of sick people all the time. In fact, I can't even visit a hospital without feeling like I got to lay down because it's just too much going on. And so that's why when you go out, you're supposed to have a hat on or something. You know what I'm saying? Cover up your head. And so they having people cover up their mouth, but really y'all need to be covering up y'all heads too. Either wearing a hat or either wearing a scarf or, they have the different things that you can protect your head with. I started going out with my witch's hat on. Ain't nobody judge me. People do kind of, sometimes I'll go out with my witch's hat on. Um, so your connection your with your divine consciousness is very important, but they are almost like blocking it. They're blocking it. Okay, so that's why a lot of people are just like kind of like the Walking Dead because they're blocking it. And it is specifically them because they want to feed off of you or either your loved ones. If you have a loved one they can feed off of, then they feel like, oh, it's great, so they will feed off of somebody else that you have around you. So you may be sitting there like, what is wrong? What is going on? And you may be like a really calm person, and then you can have somebody else around you that's just freaking out. So they're being fed on. Um, when you are upset, they feed off of you. If you give any emotional reaction, that's the feeding process. You're supposed to give emotional reactions to your family. You're supposed to give, if you're watching something that's touching, you may want to shed a couple of tears, you know what I'm saying? But for you to give your emotional stuff, to think about it, a lot of people, over half of you are literally giving your emotions to something that you have no control over and to people that you ultimately don't even know. You don't know the president. I mean, you may have met him. I mean, but you really don't know him. You don't know any of those people. So then how would you get upset about them? But you got people that are doing that. And that's what I think that they was talking about that on American Horror Story, election day. And you know what? I couldn't get into it, but I might try to get into it tonight and do some binge watching of American Horror Story tonight when I get off of here. I'm not going to be here that long, guys. Um, it's totally different. Some of the symptoms that you'll have is confusion, dizziness, headaches, depression, anxiety attacks, um, fatigue. I'm talking about extreme fatigue. Now, if just use your intuition and make sure that you protect yourself and protect your home and protect your body when you leave the house. Your house is going to be a source of great protection because when you're in your house, it makes it difficult for them to get in. But they can get in the way that they do it. But if you have certain things like either crystals that you've charged, don't just put a crystal in your house. You have to tell that crystal what to do and you have to know how to charge it. So if you want the crystal to deflect that energy or to deflect anything from doing harm, you have to tell it to do that. And then also crystals can be a bit of a bugger because you have to clean them often. So that's why I suggested that you guys use pyrite instead, or either black tourmaline. Okay. So a lot of the things that are happening in social media that is upsetting you. A lot of people say, well, I'll just avoid social media, but there's still going to be things that they're still going to do it. So it's not to just avoid social media or avoid people. That's not going to help anything. Okay? You it's still going to be going on regardless if you do that. Okay? And so when you look at social media and then social distancing, it makes it easier for them to attack us because we are so separated from each other. If we were all in it together, holding hands, they would be less powerful. But since they have been able to separate and what's the word that I'm looking for, y'all? Divide and conquer. Since they've been able to divide and conquer, you know, you gonna have to go. Alicia says she late. I'm sorry, sweetie. You can go back and listen to it from the beginning. You probably want to start at about 7 minutes because I played the Matrix song in the beginning. I'm actually getting ready to wrap it up. But protect us against interdimensional beings is what I'm talking about. I don't feel comfortable with calling them vampires. I don't want to call them that. I would rather, because vampires want blood specifically. They're not vampires. They feed off of your spiritual essence, your energy. And so when I say that to people, people will say, well, so what? Well, don't you need your energy? And then especially people that's sitting around ain't doing nothing. You really need to be listening up because they took all your energy and inspiration. The crown chakra, when you look it up, let's look it up. I'll talk a little bit longer, Alicia, because I don't mind giving y'all my energy, but I just don't like giving them my energy. I'm not gonna give it to them. I don't want them feeding off my kids either. Okay. Okay. So knowing your crown chakra, the Sahasrara. Okay, it's the seventh primary chakra. And what does it do? It inspires you. It is responsible for transformation. For example, if there's things that you need to change, the crown chakra is going to be very important. Okay. It lifts you, inspires you, makes you feel good, connecting you to the divine, or maybe angelic energy, the source, God. And then also this chakra gives you a sense of your own divinity, the awareness that you are a soul in a human body. Okay, so imagine all of the people that walk around and we think that they're soulless. Well, why do we think that? We think that because they they, they technically are not soulless per se. What it is that they are just disconnected from their divinity. So that's why they, do some of the crazy stuff that they do. The crown chakra also connects you with your personal energy. It connects you with your self awareness. So read up on the crown chakra. Some of the symptoms that you're gonna get from having a blocked crown chakra, okay, is what we want to get into. I need to, y'all. I don't know why I won't take my medicine. I need to take my allergy medicine. Hold on a minute. Okay. So let's go over the symptoms of your crown chakra being blocked. When it's open, you feel a strong sense of your ancestors, no matter how far they go up. You feel a strong connection with them, and you have a strong connection, and you have your power. Okay. And you, yeah, oh, I don't like this one. I don't like this one. Guys, be careful with reading things about physical realm and all that stuff. We are in a physical realm, but we're experiencing both, okay? So some of this information that you can get on Google, it's a matter of opinion, okay? That's just like this one article says when blocked, people can feel lost in the illusions of the physical realm. What is illusionary about the physical realm? There's nothing of an illusion of the physical realm. In fact, whoever wrote that, their crown chakra was blocked, okay, because they didn't know what they was talking about. Okay, so your crown chakra, when it's blocked, you may experience loneliness. Okay, not just your boyfriend breaking up with you. I'm talking about where you sit there, you go, oh my God, I'm so lonely. Even though I'm sitting here in a room full of people, I'm still lonely. Even though I talked to 10 people today, I'm still lonely. Loneliness is a feeling, okay? It's not an existence or a state of being, it's a feeling. You may feel insignificant. You may feel aimlessness, like you don't know which direction you're going in. You may feel a strong attachment to material possessions and achievements. There's not Listen, let me just say this. There is nothing wrong with being attached to material possessions that you created, okay? You just really can't define yourself according to them at that moment, but if you were to obtain physical possessions, material possessions, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? And so that is something that's up for debate. For example, I just ordered a brand new candelabra. I'm going to love my candelabra. I'm going to use it for spell work. I'm going to use it for, just a little centerpiece for my table, and I'll probably keep it in my family for years and maybe pass it down to my kids. So some of this stuff, be careful. It's okay to have physical material possessions as long as you're not disconnected from your spiritual side, okay? A lack of connection or guidance from a higher power, feeling unworthy of spiritual help, and anger that your higher power has abandoned you. So feeling abandoned. And then migraine headaches and tension headaches. Also, you may have dizziness. You may feel heavy in your head. There's a lot of different things. I see. What is transmutation? Transmutation is, and when you're transmuting something, that means that you're changing it. So this is the reason why a lot of people can't change when they need to, because of the existence of these interdimensional beings. And people, when they talk about an interdimensional being, they'll just say, "Oh, interdimensional being." Well, what interdimensional being are you talking about? Are you talking about these? Because these are the real bad ones. So many of you guys that have something in your life that you need to change and you can't change it. It's just not happening. That has a lot to do with your crown chakra. I don't care if your hair is down to your feet. So length of hair has nothing to do with crown chakra energy. Okay, there's people that are bald headed that have very strong crown chakras. So length of hair don't mean anything. Okay. Now, if you want to grow your hair long, that's okay. And if you're having a hard time doing it, I mean, growing hair ain't that difficult. I know that for me, my hair has grown quite a bit. And I wear my real hair all the time, either in a ponytail or French braids. Um, but it hasn't been the most important thing. I mean, I would sacrifice every strand of hair on my head if we could have peace on this earth. Okay. So everybody needs to quit trying to, figure out. In fact, a lot of the ancestors that I have ran into, the ones that are good. Okay. Because I know that we do have other, beings and angels here. These are not that. So I'm not saying it's the archangels I totally trust all of the saints and the angels. I totally trust a lot of the deities too. These are not deities. They would love to be God. I mean, if they were God, which they're not, but they emulate God a lot and they do communicate with people. So if you are in contact with these people, you have to cut them off because they will wind you up in a bad position and they are doing anything and everything. When people began to wake up, that is when they went into overdrive with their efforts. That's when things got really violent. They started amping up. They totally became our enemy. I mean, literally, at first it was kind of like, oh, a UFO, wonderful. I don't trust no UFOs. Okay. If I see an unidentified flying object, and that means unidentified if you can't identify it. And it depends on who's identifying it. If you put that object there in your mind, then you can identify it. But since you don't know where the hell it came from, that would make it a UFO. So 9 times out of 10, you may not want to trust that because and the dear woman actually brings this wisdom in because you know she's bringing in that energy and information of these entities were who was luring the men out into the wilderness, and a lot of times it was their ancestors that saved them. That's why the dear woman is a Native American, and that's why Native American magic, and then also if you go way, way, way back, the Native Americans was one of the first people to discover this particular interdimensional demon, but it literally slaughtered a lot of Native Americans and Native Indians and. Okay. So I'm trying to give you guys a crash course, and it's been like an hour and 20 minutes. So I'm going to wrap this up. But like I said, I'll go ahead and repeat again how you protect yourself. Please drink milk, cow's milk. Okay, especially if you are an empath. If you are an empath, you need to do something to cure yourself. I don't believe in lactose intolerance. Maybe they implanted some of you. It doesn't make any sense for people to be lactose intolerant, but maybe you may have a aversion to cow's milk, so maybe you need to go to goat's milk, or maybe you need to get breast milk. Okay, breast milk is very, very nutritionally dense, and there are grown people that drink breast milk. Okay, a lot of people say, "Oh, that's so weird. That's so weird. If you got breast milk, you just pumping breast milk and people just drinking it and eating it with they cereal." People would rather look politically correct than to do what is best for themselves. Okay, fish in particular, salmon. Salmon is really, really, really good, and then also salmon eggs. I know a lot of vegans are just like, "Oh, Jamila, I'm ready to strangle you." But I'm just telling you what I know. Okay, you can take fish oil capsules as well. And what was the other thing? Oh, and Palo Santo for some reason is really good. It clears out their because the here's the way that I see them. You don't see them, but they are kind of like dust particles. So they disguise themselves as dust. And so and they kind of roam in the air. And when they send them out, it's just like it multiplies. But when you light up some Palo Santo or either some sage or dragon's blood, it runs them off. Okay. And then even certain herbs, because I know that sometimes I run out of Palo Santo. I actually ordered some, and I've got a big haul video coming up for y'all, so y'all gonna really like that one. Um, I got some rose gold color candles. I had never tried those before. So I got some really interesting things, and I did order a box of Palo Santo sticks. Those will actually help you. Just burning them throughout your house. But like I said, I don't know about y'all. I don't want to have to sage my house every other day. Because a lot of people like, God, why am I saging my house every other day? I don't want to do that. So that's why you got to go ahead and do your protection. Do your 4-point protection on each level of your house. Oh, lemons, flowers. Okay, roses in particular. There's a whole list of things that you can be eating. Honey is another one that will protect you. But I think that people that don't drink milk, I think that it's I believe that milk would be the quickest way, especially if you're under attack. Okay. So try to drink some 2% milk or some 1% milk. At least you'll get 2% or 1%. I would not suggest anybody on this planet not drinking milk. And no, I am not a representative of the dairy farmers. I know that they hook the cows up to that awful machine. And I know, okay? But you got to think back to when we farmed and everybody had a cow, or everybody that was lucky had a cow, and you just milk the cow in the morning. People drank raw milk. I actually was wanting to go visit some farms of people that have raw milk. I think you can order raw milk online or something. I'm not sure. I think it might be against the law. Why they don't want us to drink raw milk? I don't know if I would want to drink raw milk from one of those factory farms where but I would drink some raw milk from a farm that I know that somebody actually milked the cow. Okay. Also eating meat, eating beef in particular. I know a lot of you guys especially, I'm sorry, vegans. I think that it would be ethically okay for vegans to drink milk personally. I know that y'all probably don't agree, but I think that if you're, especially right now where all this stuff is going on, and some of you guys are not, some of you guys are not necessarily under their radar, and that's okay. If you're not under their radar, which I think a lot of you are, we got 17 upvotes. So a lot of you are, because a lot of y'all are probably empaths. And so also the planetary cleanses are really good for that, because when you do magic, you're making physical changes when you're doing magic. And if you tell physical energy what to do, it's gonna do it. Okay. So for example, if they do have you hook, line, and sinker is what I call, and a lot of people, they'll just kind of sink into their beds, and they'll just kind of, if they have you like that, then telling their energy to stop, and then telling your energy to protect itself and stay with you, because I've seen them mess people up so much, whereas people that they are just they can't get out of the bed in the morning. They can't even smile. Smiling takes energy. To smile and to laugh, that takes energy. If you're being sucked dry by these people, or not people, they're not people. If you're being sucked dry by these interdimensional demons, you're not going to have much inspiration to do anything. So, woke for life. Hey, welcome to the chat. I gotta go, guys. I gotta go. It's almost 3 a.m. And I've been, ooh, y'all wouldn't believe some of the stuff I dealt with today. Goodness gracious. It just, but if you need to get more information, I'll be back with this information. So how does this relate to adrenochrome? Is what I wanted to say. So let's say that you got up in the morning and you ate breakfast. And so that gave you a certain amount of energy for the day. But then something happened to upset you just out of the blue. And then you just kind of felt upset. Just, oh, I can't pay no attention to nothing else. I can't, I can't do this. I can't do that. If you experience, okay, what's happening, this is what's happening, is that they want to feed real fast. So adrenochrome is what energy. That's what it is. So basically what they will do is they will get you riled up so that they can pull. Okay, and they do it all the time. They doing it to y'all every single day, actually. And I called it a machine, but sometimes they want you to forget about them. So, but you can't forget it, but they will mess with you to where they'll say, "Oh, we don't want her to be consciously aware that we're here." And so what they'll do is they will create a diversion. But I believe that number one, my protection jar protects me a lot from them. But I think that what ends up happening is that other people that aren't protected can affect you. So it's almost like a virus. And so if they take a certain amount of your energy per day, because they're trying to get your adrenaline, they're trying to get your energy. So adrenaline is basically the hormone that you produce when you're riled up or when you're in survival mode. Okay, that's what it is. So if they take a certain amount of adrenaline, you're not going to have enough energy for anything else. So that's what makes it so bad. And that's why there's a lot of depressed people on this planet, because they are taking a lot from you. Even what y'all get from me on a daily basis, they'll take that if you let them. Okay. You said a pletharian keeps visiting my friend. Says it's a white female with silver gray hair, but Santa Muerta visits her a lot too in New Orleans. Huh. She Keep in mind, guys, that these particular interdimensionals, they are not on this planet. If they are on this planet, they would be removed quickly. They would, because they would absolutely just walk into a restaurant and start eating people. If they were actually able to, which I guess they could come down here and be protected by their spacecraft. That, from what spirit told me, is that they pull people into the spacecraft, though. Children, men and women, it doesn't matter. They don't care about your age. They don't care about your race. So people that disappear and are never heard from again, they're just not on this earth anymore. Only in spirit, because they will take and physically remove people. And they do cruel things. They're very cruel people. Or not people. I keep calling them people. They're very cruel demons. So I believe that God protects us, and I believe also that Jesus Christ protects us from them too. I know a lot of people are shocked to hear me say that, But right about the time that they began to do some, oh my God, they were, I'm not even going to tell you what they were doing because a lot of you guys would get freaked out. But as soon as they started, like it just all of a sudden Jesus came to me. So I believe that he protects from those beings too. And I'm just saying, now for me, I am very empathic. I know who I can trust, and I do trust Jesus Christ. So if you are like a Christian or a Baptist, you are protected from that. Okay? You are protected. Doesn't mean people get it confused when they see witchcraft, and then uh, it's really difficult to explain. So your deities will protect you from those beings. Okay? They will protect you. This is why it's important for you to work with your spirits and work with them. I mean, you don't necessarily have to be up in arms all the time per se. I know that every day I work with my spirits, but that is because I do a lot of work for people. Okay. So I almost have to because it's a lot of stuff that I'm dealing with along with that. And like I said, um now the fertility rate dropping, okay? I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to because it's too much and I'll have to do a part 2. So we'll do a part 2, guys, because if I open up that can of worms, I'm going to be here for another hour or two. So we'll talk about how they look at women, human women. Okay. We'll talk about how they look at human women, in particular, fertile women. And so we'll talk about that because I'll have to consult with spirit guides for that. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you, JB. Appreciate it. Does that CA mean that you're in Canada? Are you in Canada? That's what's up. I've been wanting to come over there and visit Canada and go up to the go see the northern lights and stuff. Oh, thank you. Love you too. Love you too. So I haven't there's no name for them because people are so unaware, but now that we have been talking about them, people will start talking about them more often, but you heard it here first because and eventually NASA is because if NASA told the masses about this, people would freak out. That's why it's only a certain amount of you that are going to even witness what I'm talking about. But more people will start talking about them more. And so I'm calculating maybe in another 50 years they'll completely go away. In the meantime, we have to because for everybody to wake up, it's not going to happen unless, I mean, who knows, maybe if we do a mass ritual for everybody to wake up at the same time so that they don't let them in, because like I said, they get let in through the consciousness. And so that's when you have people doing all kind of strange things. Okay. So to, to change yourself, it starts with you, but it's the other people around you that can be dangerous because they have no idea. They watch some on the news, they get upset. They, get into an argument. I know that for me, um, I know that I started suspecting something was up in 2017. And I never forget this because I have a lot of energy. Like I could get up and clean up this whole house, cook. I have a lot of energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so it was one day I was trying to get some stuff cleaned up and I was trying to get some stuff done. And then all of a sudden, a spirit told me to go outside and I looked up and I could see something and it was literally circulating. It was certain and I told it to leave. And it left. It just disappeared. It was way up there. It was a UFO. In fact, over here in Georgia, I see UFOs all the time. If you just randomly go outside and look up at the sky, you'll probably see a UFO. So there is a lot of alien activity over here. They like to be near the bigger places. Thank you, thank you. They will visit in your dreams. If we're talking about the same entities, they will visit you in your dreams. Um, they're typically affecting people while they're awake, though. Yes, intention is everything. I mean, I've been dealing with them for years now. It's just I kind of, but then when they started coming out with adrenochrome, that's when I figured, okay, it's okay for me to talk about them because I've been sensing them for the longest. In fact, there was some kind of report about some kind of UFO that was somewhere near Mars and the moon years ago, and they quickly got rid of it. And so it pisses me off that they have hidden a lot of this information from us, but it might be because they don't want you to freak out. Oh, they have, you know what? It kind of looks like a big ass blob. I'm not being funny, but it's got like a shape or a form and it's like lit up. It's energetically lit up with our energy too. Cuz otherwise it's this species, this interdimensional species that I'm talking about, it's dying off. And it took them a long time. I mean, you got to think about, well, technically, the crazy thing about life is that it is kind of like a snake eating its tail, kind of like the figure eight. So to to be able to look at the beginning, ooh, there really isn't any beginning or any end. So when you think about how long it took for them to travel here, and they are survivors of a dying planet out of this solar system. And their planet in their solar system might be flat. Might be. That might be where that flat earth theory came from. I don't trust it at all. I'm like, are you for real? Like seriously? And it has nothing to do with us seeing pictures of earth or but well, it does have something to do with us seeing pictures. I mean, you could you can actually go right now and look at planet Earth and you'll see that it's round. So I don't, so it's just something else for them to say. I want to say something, you know what I'm saying? So their planet might, they're in, and it's a totally different solar system. And it took them a long time to get here. And looking at Earth, what does Earth look like? Earth looks like a big ass resource. Even just looking at it, even when you listen to Earth's frequency from space, you can tell it's a lot going on Earth. Okay, it's a lot. I mean, we just down here partying, ain't we? So, so they saw all that water. They saw all that water and that land, and they can feed off the trees too. They can feed off of anything on this planet, but their favorite to feed off of is children, in particular small babies. You got to be careful when your babies have like colic and stuff. In fact, a lot of babies that have gas and stuff and colic and really painful gas, unfortunately, that's a symptom because when they start to feed It's almost like your insides will just kind of start bubbling. Your blood will start boiling and stuff. It's pretty bad, and it's not normal for us to be, and then they'll say, "Well, get used to it." Well, we're not. Nobody's gonna get used to that. Like, people are seeing what's going on. Well, they're feeling what's going on. They can't see it because they can't think outside of the sky. Okay, so if you're able to think beyond Earth's atmosphere and actually be able to see out there, and then also if you are, again, they're interdimensional. So if you go up there and travel up there by a spacecraft, I believe that you would run into them personally. Do I believe that they went to other planets? I believe they went to the moon, but I don't think that they went anywhere beyond the moon. Okay. But if you were to go up there, because astral travel is not just going into another realm, astral travel is traveling the physical realm as well. Astral is not just, oh, I'm going into a separate astral realm. No, you can actually manipulate the physical realm through the astral realm. So if you're able to see them and you go up there, you'll definitely see them. You'll definitely see them. Do you know what JB said? Something interesting, trying to take our existence into their own. You know what? Not really. Not really. They don't want to exist as us. This is something different. They don't, they just want to feed off of us. They just want to eat us. Oh, you in Georgia too? Atlanta, and I see them on farmland when I did security for movie sets and TV shows. Really? Did you take any pictures? See, when y'all see stuff like that, take a picture of it. The camera will pick it up. And so orbs. Orbs are manifestations of light energy. You won't really see them as orbs. What you're gonna see them as, the way that I see them, is it's almost like they're these dust particles. It's dust, and it might even be them damn dust mites. We don't know where a lot of that stuff come. The only thing we know is that it's a dust mite. Okay, well, where did it come from? People are just so accepting, but it's just like, okay, well, where did this come from? And we all know that you can clear out dust mites in the air with sage and palo. So exist, they want to take over us. Oh yeah, yeah. Exist in the way they can use us in their own way. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But as far as them wanting our physical bodies, they think, okay, so you got to understand that this is something from a whole different solar system. So I don't even know a lot about them, but I do know that they are up there and they are somewhere in between. They stay between Mars and the moon. And they kind of they sometimes they get closer to the moon, but they do kind of travel in and out of that area. Yeah. Yeah. They are, it is like a it's real bad, and they have been thinking about moving on to a different solar system, but the only reason why they won't do it is because they're contactees. And see, these contactees, they're not going to tell you about this. In fact, some of them don't even know. They're just body bags for them, and so that's why with me, Um, when I'm communicating with the enemy, that's who I'm really talking to. I'm not talking to, my auntie or my cousin or somebody. I'm talking, you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking to the enemy on YouTube necessarily. I'm talking to the enemy. If you are a representative of them, it's going to be very, very obvious because you're going to constantly be trying to upset people. That's how you can tell. If it's a person that's constantly trying to upset people, then more than likely that is the entity that is controlling you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do make attachments, which is why you can't let people upset you these days, especially right now, because the less energy that they get. And so a lot of people say, well, Jamila, why won't they feed off of the sun? They do feed off of the sun. They love to feed off of the sun, um and the moon and us. They have literally visited every planet in the solar system. Okay. Now, there is life on Mars. There is life on Pluto. We just can't see it because it's a different reality. It's a different plane of existence. Okay. So planet is plane of existence. Okay. So that's why we can't just go up there and say, hey, hi, neighbor. No, we can't do that. Yeah, the solar plexus is connected to the sun. So that's why during the day, actually, that's why a lot of people prefer to sleep during the day, rest during the day, and work, be up at night, because during the day is when they really coming for you. They love working with that sun energy when everybody at work, when people stressed out and people, yeah. And at night it's not as bad at night. That's why I'll be sitting here waiting for it to get dark outside. I love the dark because the dark actually, they kind of go inactive at night, is what they do. But even though their contactees are still active, they kind of go inactive. Thank you for the super chats. I appreciate it. Yeah, but you know why though? So the planets are changing in response to them, and trust me, all of the planets would like to kick them out of the because all of our neighboring planets, they are friends. Those planets are friends of ours. They help us. So the planets themselves are not evil. It's what's out there. They're not native to those planets. Like I said, they're not even native to the solar system. And I think the reason why it's getting so bad is because they are getting ready to pack up and leave. And that has been the hope. But sadly, I think that their contactees, they've gotten so evil that they just want them to destroy the planet and everybody on it. So when you hear people talking like that, and when you hear people, um, it's because a lot of people say, well, Earth is a prison. Or no, it's not Earth. It's just your consciousness. Okay, you can exist on Earth in a totally different consciousness, but if you live in their consciousness, also paranoia. Their contactees are usually extremely paranoid because they're not connected with their consciousness. Think about it. If your crown chakra is compromised to that point, you ain't gonna trust nobody, you ain't gonna trust yourself. You're going to be totally lost. You're not going to have any connection. The connection is to their suction. That's all you're going to get is suction from them. That's the only connection. You're not connecting to God, you're just connecting to them, and you exist as a battery. So those beings, again, yes, I do believe that their contactees are the ones that are getting the, because they want to be like these aliens. They want to be like them. So that's why they'll go. Their first of all, their contactees are being fed off of too. So what they'll do is their contactees will go and they'll do some kind of heinous crime to either a child or a person. And they'll take that adrenochrome and it'll just make them feel very powerful. But you're already powerful as a human being. What is wrong and what is going on with you to where you actually feel the need to feed off of other human beings? Why do you think you need to do that? Why are humans doing that? So adrenochrome is very real. You saw Dr. Phil trying to play dumb, but it's actually very real. Um, the I'm not gonna get into any of that other stuff because then it would be opening up more cans of worms that I don't want to open. But we've actually seen practices of this even throughout history, and they always label it as witchcraft. They will label interdimensional demonic activity as witchcraft. Are you crazy? Think about it. Why would a witch, besides if she were punishing her enemy, need to bloodlet somebody? Why would she or he need to do that? What would be the purpose? Why would you need to do that? They have no explanation. Oh, because this is an ancient practice and this is no, you are more than likely throughout history we've seen that happen. So they actually did that back in the day. And I think they either called it bloodletting or something. And but it's more technological because what they're doing is they're able to extract that adrenaline from the blood that they take. But average people, their contactees don't have to cut you to feed off of you. They don't. They can just do something to connect you with that, and then bam. Okay. You literally, and yes, they will feed off of your creativity and your inspiration. Absolutely, they will. That's why there's a lot of people that are uninspired. They can't figure out how to survive. You realize there's a lot of people that are having a hard time surviving. That's a big deal. And this has been going on like, I guess we would have to date it back to the first depression that we had. Yeah. 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 So yeah, they would blame that on witches, but there would like, besides doing, first of all, human sacrifice, that's not necessarily pagan. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the system of witchcraft, human sacrifice, nah, no. They did sacrifice animals, but it was, you were supposed to try to eat the animal that you sacrificed unless the animal had a demonic spirit in it. Okay? So, and then also it just it's really deep. To go into it would definitely take several hours to actually connect the dots for y'all. But I feel like y'all already had y'all had the consciousness of these beings for a very long time. And then maybe it just was just now for me to be able to talk about it, because they usually will take your strongest attribute and feed off of that, and then they'll sit up there and look at And it's like, what are you doing? And so that's why a lot of people, they'll just be tired. They'll just be just drugged down to the ground and just, oh, I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing that. And, yeah. Yeah, sir, being in survival mode, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, JB. I don't agree with that either. Just being in survival mode, like that isn't enlightenment. We should be doing more than surviving. We shouldn't have to barely make it. Like, oh God, I barely. Oh God, that was a close call. Like living on the edge of night. We shouldn't be. Yeah, you are supposed to. That's why I always show respect to animals, especially cows. I think cows are some of the most, because they represent the sacred mother. They are very sacred. Just look them up because yeah, they don't, yeah, exactly. They wouldn't necessarily need to kill somebody to get what they needed. They could just use a virgin's menstrual blood. Exactly. So what's the point in killing somebody? Either you're angry or you're trying to seek vengeance or something like that. Otherwise, you know, there would be no magical necessary reason for us to do that, because as you can see, they there was some about shedding blood upon the land, and that ain't did nothing but curse the land because of the souls of those people and the suffering. Okay, the suffering is the problem. So this is one of the reasons why when I came in, I was born in 77. I couldn't stand human suffering. That's one of the things about a lot of our empaths, especially those of you that were born anywhere between 1970 and 1980. And a lot of the 80s babies, they are connected, but they are not talking about it as much as we are, the ones that came in, because we're actually supposed to be leading them by example. Yeah, I love cows. I like milk. I like ice cream. I like cheese. So a lot of people would say that my allergies are caused by drinking milk, and that's actually not true. There's been times where I felt kind of blocked and I drank milk and it just opened everything up. So milk is actually a miracle, that they were trying to keep us, and thank the goddess for the people that said, hey, whoa, 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 wait a minute. Now you going a little too far here with this, okay? Because I looked at my refrigerator, I had like 5 gallons in there. I said, because I just kept buying gallons of milk. And I said, dang, we got all this milk in here. I keep milk in my refrigerator. And I poured a couple of them out because I had too many and then they was kind of unfresh. But, you know, y'all better be drinking that milk. You said Johnny Depp loves adrenochrome. He sacrifices humans a lot. That's why he plays a lot of dark roles. Wow. I believe y'all. I believe in y'all ideas seriously because, and oh man, I heard that story about Bobby Brown's son, that cute little boy. He was only 28 years old. And I was going to watch a couple of videos about how people are theorizing that Bobby Brown done sacrificed that boy. I just don't want to believe that about Bobby Brown. Oh my God. Mm, mm. I had a dream the Divine Mother manifested herself as the cow all over the world, but the cows were sickly with their life force being drained away. Did you really? Wow. So they don't necessarily feed off of animals. They don't. Animals are totally different. Animals have a totally different, even though cows are very close to our DNA, so they probably would want to feed off of a cow. Maybe that's why we had that mad cow disease. Hmm. Yeah. Wow. Who saved the satanic killers and paid for their lawyers? You said that was Kanye West and his mama? Who was that again? Let me see. Or are you talking about Bobby? Or are you talking about Johnny Depp? Oh, it's two different one of you. Okay, hold on. I'm getting y'all mixed up. Okay. Yeah. Who was that again? That saved the satanic killers and paid for their lawyers? Mm-hmm. So I wonder if they was trying to make the cows sick. That's very interesting. And I didn't know that cows had 70% of our DNA. I didn't know that. Huh. Okay. Well, see y'all done taught me something. See? Now it definitely makes sense. Mm. Well, here's what I can tell you. Um, your diet, paying attention to that, but then also just I think that little things can help. What I do is I sage once a week typically. And a lot of people say wash your floors and stuff like that. Yeah, you should, because the dust particles, it's the dust particles and stuff, and the dust all over the walls. Over cow consumption and growth cause so much methane it kills Gaia. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then also some of these drugs, they don't come from planet Earth. Well, some of them do, but some of the other ones, believe it or not, they've smuggled this stuff in interdimensionally. I will tell you that it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a link, but people that do cocaine can be contacted by them. So they do have a connection with cocaine and with drugs, like hard drugs. They do have a connection with that. Because if you're on a hard drug, you might be willing to do just about anything to get it. So you think that the milk is tainted? Hmm. Oh yeah, JB. And you know what? There is this oil that I had gotten from my supplier. It's called violet oil. I need to get some more of that. The smell of this oil, it just seemed to open everything up. So I need to get me some of that. Yeah. Yeah, actually I got some gold candles, some rose gold. I got gold and rose gold green because we got a money ritual coming up, y'all. So I am gonna go. It has been fun talking to you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I don't if you guys need to reach me because I do planetary work, okay? Because some of y'all planets within itself is all messed up. And if something is blocking you and blocking you from that divinity, and is blocking you from the energies that are so abundant in the universe, then you can definitely do something about that. Because I know that I noticed that, like, when my closets start getting kind of messy and the house starts getting kind of messy, I'll do some planetary work, and then just boom, it gets cleaned up. But it's so difficult because their contactees are always trying to feed for them, or always trying to open you up. They want to open up that portal between you and them, is how they do it. And the way that you control it is you control yourself. You control what comes in and what goes out. Okay. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. And you know what? I'm actually getting ready to bottle it in my amber glass bottles, because I've been charging it. But yeah, I will definitely have it up there. I just got to get the bottles and stuff. And okay, cool, cool, JB. Oh, so we've talked before. Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know that that was you. I didn't know that was you. Milk boxes have missing kids pictures on it. I haven't seen a. I haven't gotten the milk in the carton in a while. I usually get it in that plastic container, but they still got those missing kids on them. And why did they always put the missing kids on the milk cartons? Like, that's very interesting that they did that. Johnny Depp did that. Those teenagers sacrificed those kids in the woods in Tennessee, and he got them out of jail. Oh my goddess. Really? I was asking you about that earlier. I was wondering what what you were saying. Wow. That's crazy. That's insane. No wonder he ain't been making no movies. Yeah, I've the bottles that I use to keep my oils in is those brown amber. They're the brown bottles, because you want to keep the light out of it once I'm done with them. So, hey Xavier, hello. Okay, cool. Yeah, I gotta go. I will talk to y'all later. Peace and love to you guys, okay? Stay woke. Love and light.